Arsenal hold their nerve at the Bernabeu. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. Today's video is going to centre around Arsenal Football Club. This club right here, who last night officially knocked out the defending champions of the Champions League in Real Madrid in spectacular and incredible fashion. Not only did Arsenal humiliate, embarrass and destroy Real Madrid at home, but they also did it again over a week later, this time at the Bernabeu. We're also going to be talking about other Champions League games that occurred, of course, this week as well. We're going to look ahead to the Champions League semi-final as well. But without further ado, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you are new. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. Get involved in the comment section as well. Let me know your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it about Arsenal, the Champions League that played out in the quarter-final stages, and of course a look ahead to the semi-finals as well. I'm sure what you have to say will make for great interest in reading, so please do get involved. And without further ado, we'll get on to the conversation ourselves. We're talking Arsenal. We're talking about the Champions League. And what an incredible competition we have ahead of us in the semi-final. Look, last night, Arsenal, I have nothing but praise. I have nothing but respect to give Arsenal Football Club. A lot of talk happened before the game, mainly from Real Madrid. A lot of talk happened before the game about how, Real Madrid, it's a different cauldron over there, the Bernabeu, about how it's the longest 90 minutes of football that you'll ever play, about how, if anybody's going to do it and make this incredible comeback, it's going to be Real Madrid. All of that stuff was being spouted by Real Madrid, by the club, by the players, using all forms of media and social media to try and play those mind games with Arsenal. And all Arsenal did was phase it out completely. Phase it out, go out there, play their natural game, and barring one, well, if you want to include the penalty as well, barring two mistakes, Arsenal were perfect. Arsenal were absolutely perfect again last night. Declan Rice, absolutely phenomenal in the middle of the pitch yet again. Bukayo Saka, sparkling on the wing in what was a 2-1 victory on the night for the Gunners and a 5-1 victory overall on aggregate to see them comfortably, safely, smooth sailing through to the final four, the semi-finals. And I can guarantee you this, nobody in their right mind predicted that that would happen before a ball was even kicked in this round of fixtures. No one sat there and said Arsenal are going through as comfortably as what they did. And if you did, you were either a liar or was at the time completely deluded. Like I say, I have nothing but respect and praise to give Arsenal because of how incredibly they handled Real Madrid in both legs and how well they performed in the second leg, when I would say the pressure was really on. Well, on more so than it was in the first leg at least. I'll clarify those comments later, but first and foremost, we've got to talk Madrid. Madrid was shocking. Again, Madrid was so poor. Their defence is weak. Thibaut Courtois kept them in the game. Not just in the first leg, but the second leg as well. Decent penalty save. I know that Saka kind of tried something audacious and messed it up a little bit. But he still obviously had to keep his wits about him to make that save. No problem with the goalkeeper, I would say. The defence, though, every time Arsenal came forward, they looked like they were going to score. The midfield, weak. No fight, no tenacity, no urgency, no creativity. Absolutely nothing from the midfield last night of Real Madrid. And the least said about the attack, the better. Yes, Vinny Jr. gets his goal. But that came from a mistake from William Saliba. A horrendous mistake. The second and only mistake, I would say, Arsenal made over the course of 180 minutes. Other than that, Real Madrid did not lay a glove on Arsenal. They did not even scratch Arsenal, apart from that one error, that one mistake from William Saliba. Other than that, they did nothing. There was no urgency. There was no fight. There was nothing from this Real Madrid side to even attempt to get back into the game. And you can maybe look at that and go, that may be down to Arsenal. And a large part of it is down to Arsenal. The way they played, the way they neutralised Real Madrid was incredible to watch, both as the home team in the first leg and as the away team in the second. They deserve huge amounts of praise. But that Real Madrid team is certainly different to the ones that we've seen win this competition on numerous occasions down the years. That Real Madrid team is certainly a shadow of its former self, given how poor they were across both of these legs of games. Fair play to Arsenal for doing what they did. But for Real Madrid to put in that level of performance, and especially that level of performance when all week your players have been using the media, your players have been using social media, certain members of your fan base have been using social media, and everybody else associated with the club has been using social media to say things like 90 minutes at the Bernabeu is a very long time. If anybody's going to do this comeback, it's going to be us. Remontada settings, guys. The comeback's on. We're going to fight back. To put in that performance, absolutely abysmal, absolutely embarrassing, and Arsenal put you to the sword and humiliated you. Arsenal did that. Rice, phenomenal. Saka, exceptional. Martinelli gets the winning goal. Real Madrid barely laid a scratch on Arsenal. Barely laid a glove on them. They relied on one moment to get a goal from a terrible mistake from William Saliba. That was it. Big things are going to obviously be in Real Madrid's future. It already come out today that Carlo Ancelotti is expected to leave at the end of the season. There was even certain reports out there suggesting that Jurgen Klopp could be someone that Real Madrid try and tempt to take over. Well, if that is to be the case, not only will I be disappointed and saddened that Jurgen Klopp would take over Real Madrid, I'd also throw out the phrase, if you can't beat them, join them, as far as what he is concerned. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope that's just all talk, but you never ever know in football. I think certain members of this Real Madrid squad may need rejuvenating, reshaping. It's going to be an interesting time ahead for Real Madrid. But for Arsenal, of course, they are looking ahead to a Champions League semi-final with PSG, the current French League champions, of course. Wrapped up the French League title last week and have looked very good. Very, very good in this Champions League so far. But so have Arsenal. So have Arsenal. And here's the thing. Although Arsenal have looked very good, it goes back to what I said on Tuesday during my live stream where I was talking about Arsenal and talking about the Champions League that was lying ahead this week. I said that Arsenal, the pressure's up now. The pressure's intensified. Against Real Madrid in the first leg, no one was expecting them to do what they did. At the very most, Arsenal fans were hoping for a 1-0, a 2-1, a slender win. Rival fans probably said that they'd probably get a draw in the first leg before Real Madrid took control in the Bernabeu. We've all been proven wrong, by the way, on that. No one expected this, what happened over the course of these two legs. But it has happened. But now the pressure's on. Because now you've just made a monumental target of yourself. And you may have handled it last night because you were 3 goals up. Fantastic. Brilliant. But can you handle it the first leg against PSG in the semi-final? Can you handle it now that the intensity has just gone up a few extra notches? The pressure has been applied in droves now. You've just knocked out the holders. You've just knocked out the most prestigious club in this competition. That makes you a massive target. And on one side of the draw, you've got two teams that are yet to win a Champions League title in Arsenal and PSG. On the other side, you've got two teams that haven't tasted Champions League success in a number of years. Arsenal's pressure mounts now. Obviously, the league is done and dusted. Just use that as a way of gathering momentum and obviously keep the legs ticking over in those players for energy and for workout purposes in a match atmosphere. Just rotate, rotate, rotate. Ignore the result of the league. You guarantee Champions League football for next season. Put all your eggs in the Champions League basket. Because here's the thing. From all four teams that remain in this competition, I would say that in the knockout phase, Arsenal are the only team to have not shown really any vulnerability. They absolutely wiped the floor with PSV. They destroyed Real Madrid. There have been, apart from the Saliba mistake, there's not really been much vulnerability to Arsenal in the knockout stages. That's not to say that it won't get there, because you can always make claims that, well, PSV aren't that great. PSV played into Arsenal's hands. And as far as Real Madrid are concerned, they're not the same Real Madrid as old. I'm hearing those arguments and I'm understanding those arguments. Don't get me wrong. But Inter has shown vulnerabilities. Barcelona showed vulnerabilities on Tuesday night. So too had PSG, when of course they took their eye off the ball against Aston Villa. Arsenal are the only ones for me that have not shown that kind of vulnerability to their game in this atmosphere, in this environment, just yet. And that could put them in good stead going up against PSG. But the pressure has intensified. They handled the pressure extremely well on Wednesday. But now go and do it again. And again in the second leg. And then again in the final if you make it there. That is where the true mettle of this Arsenal team is going to be tested. That's where the true mettle of this Mikel Arteta side is going to be put to task. They've got a lot of work to do. They can't overestimate. I don't want them to underestimate what they did last night. It was a fantastic achievement. But at the same time, they can't overestimate it as well and think that we're going to believe the hype. Because that's what Real Madrid did. Real Madrid believed the hype that they were going to walk past Arsenal. And look what happened. Arsenal fans, just keep your feet on the ground a little while longer. As far as what the other teams are concerned, PSG obviously managed to keep Aston Villa at arm's length on Tuesday night. I think for PSG, the thing with them is that they just had a bit of overconfidence. They scored two very good goals. And then they thought the game was done and dusted. They took their eye off the ball a little bit. They relaxed. Aston Villa got back into the game. And then I think substitutions for Aston Villa somewhat killed the game off. Donnarumma had a fantastic game for PSG. He was absolutely insane in keeping them in that game. He was absolutely brilliant. But of course, I think PSG just took their eye off the ball. They're hopefully expecting that not to happen again. And against this Arsenal side, we are looking at one hell of a mouth-watering and exciting encounter between, like I say, two teams that have not tasted success in the Champions League. I'm very much looking forward to seeing how these two teams play out. Arsenal may be looking at this as more of a counter-attacking opportunity, allowing pressure on from PSG, saying, go on then, break us down, and we'll hit you on the counter-attack again. That could be another opportunity for Arsenal to get through. It's going to be a very interesting game nonetheless. And on the other side of the draw, you've got Barcelona, of course, who managed to just about keep Borussia Dortmund at arm's length the other day. I thought the game was done and dusted, but Borussia Dortmund made more of a fight of it than I was anticipating. But Barcelona managed to get the job done to see themselves get through to the next round of the competition, where they will be meeting Inter. And Inter drew 2-2 with Bayern yesterday. Despite the efforts of Harry Kane, Inter took their chances and made Bayern pay. Got through to the semi-final. And they, like I say, they're still my pick to win. I still rate Inzaghi. I still rate Inter. I still think that they are going to be going through. But I can't wait for this semi-final tie between the irresistible force of Barcelona meeting the immovable object of Inter Milan. I can't wait for that one. That's going to be insane. And like I say, I think if we're purely going, because this is more of an Arsenal video, if we are purely going for if Arsenal get through to the final, I think they would probably be hoping that Barcelona get there over Inter. Because I think Arsenal will fancy their chances of taking Barcelona down and neutralising them. And there was also a bit of narrative there because there would be a bit of revenge for the 2006 final that, of course, those two teams played out. And then, of course, if you are going to be facing Inter in a low block could be the Achilles heel to Arsenal. So I think for Arsenal, you're probably hoping that if you do get past PSG, you're going to be facing Barcelona in the final. It's going to be a massive, massive, massive end to this competition, though. One that I'm excited for to view as a spectator rather than have any sort of horse to back in this race. I mean, I wish Liverpool were in it, but of course, that's just the nature of the competition. But yeah, Arsenal have praise and respect for what they have done to Real Madrid over the course of 2 legs last night. But the pressure only intensifies. Can they handle it? That's going to be the big question. Look, these are the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of Arsenal and their victory over Real Madrid? Not just last night at the Bernabeu, but across 2 legs as well. What do you make of the Champions League? What do you make of the semi-finals that is to come? I'd love to know what you guys have to say. Your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, will make great interesting reading down below. So please do get involved down there. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you are new or want to see more content like this. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. Thank you all for your brand new or continued support to the channel. It really does mean a lot to me. You guys are absolutely awesome. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And as always, I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I'll see and speak with you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Speak to you all again very, very soon.